Hello, beautiful souls. This is Vanita Kumar, also known as Twinflameunion, bringing you guys the AVA series, Ask Vanita Anything. I have a series of questions that were submitted, and I'm gonna actually go through those in the sequence that it was received. So if it doesn't get aired this round, it's gonna get aired the next round, depending on how how many questions I can actually answer through. Sometimes I can answer through whatever was submitted to me in all in one video. Sometimes I break it up to two videos. So depending on what that is, we're going to dive deep into these questions. Thank you for those that did submit these questions. You can submit them any way. I usually look at everything anyways, any of my social media accounts. You can email me, you can find me in the contact page in the in my website. You can actually even jot it down in the comments in the YouTube. I look at all of them, I screenshot them, and if they are worthy of me answering it, I'll definitely answer it. What I ask is that do be very, very clear on what your question is. If it's not clear enough, I'm not going to be able to answer it. So you make sure it's in English, concise, clear, and all that sort of thing, so that I'm able to understand what you're actually asking. If it's very, very lengthy, I'm gonna say shorten it, because get to the point of what you're trying to say, because I actually do mention a little bit of scenario, but not too much. If it's a book, I'm not gonna mention that, and you have to cut it down, condense it. I suggest that you write it and then give it a couple of days and look at it, analyze it. I'm talking about the question, and then submit it. It's probably the best way, versus you having a panic attack or a trigger attack and you've put a whole bunch of stuff in there that doesn't need to be there. Stuff like that. You need to be disciplined, just like I am in life and in my spiritual journey. You need to be disciplined as well. So make sure that all that stuff is submitted a little bit better than your other work, because it's somebody else is going to be reading them, and as well as me reading them and answering them. So make sure that that information is clear, concise, and it's easy for me to understand the question as opposed to guessing what it is. So having said that, we're gonna dive deep into all these questions and my answers. But before we actually begin, let's hit it. And welcome back. For those that are new to this channel, welcome. Please do not forget to hit like. It helps my video to circulate around, as well as hit the subscribe button so that you do not miss any future videos, as well as the notification bell. You'd be surprised just how many things that I have in this channel that actually will aid you in your spiritual journey going forward. If you are drawn to this channel, it's never by chance. I always say this to all my clients when they actually come one-on-one with me. They usually find me through YouTube or through my articles. It's the work of your higher self that leads you to where you need to be going forward. And you're gonna meet lots of people like me that's gonna come and go in your life as you actually lift your consciousness and as you do your paradigm shift. So having said that, if you do want to book any private sessions with me, all that information is in the description. My website is there. You can go directly into my website and purchase from there, as well as self-book. It's all there in that streamline. It's easier for me to not then deal with booking as well as different time zones. So do that. And I also want to mention that 10% off twinflameunion sales also go to charity. So yeah, I'm just trying to fix this here. I'm looking at myself, and yeah, it's that OCD stuff that I always talk about. Those that are my regular viewers, you know. So yeah, 10% of twinflameunion sales also go to charity. You can check that out, see which of that is affiliated with me in my website. So we're gonna dive deep into this questions that people have submitted, and like I said earlier, thank you for those that have submitted these questions. Some of them were from my private Facebook group, and then of course some of my regular viewers on YouTube. So I don't I don't write them down or even type them down. I just take it straight from the devices. So I have several here going, and I just don't have the time capacity. So it's just the way life is these days, and apparently I'm going to get busier. So you know, I have lots of things on the go. So so here it is. This is what Evelyn is asking in one of my questions. One of my YouTubers here, YouTube watchers, I should say. I'm a YouTuber, they're my watcher. So so this is what Evelyn is asking. Though the past year I have gone back and forth looking at your videos, now I know I'm supposed to be here. And that's what I was saying to a lot of people that that are drawn to my work and are drawn to my channel, because it's the work of your higher self. It always leads you to the right places, definitely. I keep seeing blue jays and hawks. Is there anything to this? I ask my guys for clarity and I see them. After I read this, I almost have to, I couldn't believe just how much I personally know about animal spirit guides. It's just a shaman in me as well that knows intuitively what this sort of stuff means as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's something that I would be doing is actually making a card deck for all the meanings of animal spirits and stuff like that. I know that there's lots of card decks that are out there that are made by other authors that have published them, and it's always a good idea to actually purchase those. Just so that you actually connect with them. But I always say, for those that are in tune with any sort of animals, they usually are your animal spirit guide, and it works that way. In my case, I called Black Panther is really huge in my journey, and it started off as a pet name for my twin flame. And later on, he became my twin flame symbol, meaning that anytime I needed any kind of validation, I used to just use that. And it was also very heavily involved in my 72-hour twin flame test, where I was asking for this particular sign particularly to know whether my twin flame was indeed my twin flame. And of course the answers came, almost the whole world knows, whoever has read that article or has followed my work knows that I actually have very huge connection with Black Panther. Then of course he became my animal spirit guide, and then later on my power animal for life. So having said that, it's a journey that I won't say that everybody will go through something that drastic, the way that Black Panther was for me. But having said that, a lot of people do encounter animal spirit guides, and animal spirit guides will come and go all the time, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. In the beginning of my journey, I remember seeing blue jays a lot, and I was always fascinated with that, and I looked up every meaning there was on articles regarding blue jays. So for Evelyn, if you are looking or if you're sighting blue jays very frequently, it's there's a higher meaning to that. And I know that you can read up a lot on blue jays itself on the internet, as you can just Google blue jays animal spirit guide. There's going to be a whole bunch that will tell you what that is all representing, and you can pick and choose on how this applies to you in your journey. Having said that, I also think intuitively, which was not something that I had found on the internet, but this is why I feel like I almost should do a deck on this on these animals, because there's just not information like that you'll find. I feel that blue jays, for those that do see it, it's supposed to be a first of all, if you look at the color is blue, and blue jays like to almost they're the birds of communication, if that makes sense to people that know a little bit about jays, I guess, because they have cardinals and jays, there's red jays, there's blue jays, right? So, and there's other spectrums of the colors that they are in. So so any of those, I feel intuitively that they are birds of communication. They are birds that represent twin flames. That's how I felt, and that's what I was trying to do at that time, was find information regarding blue jays to see how it represented twin flames. And I want to say that communication is very huge attached to that. Having said that, also it's just a very spiritual bird, and I even tried to Google blue jays with love, and there is like a sense of what's that word? Sort of like when you are true to somebody, if dedication, right? That kind of word. So you are true to your connection, or your twin flame is true to you. That faithfulness, that kind of words are coming to me, where I feel that when you're looking at blue jays, definitely it's a sign that there is there's faithfulness in between the two of you and your twin flame. So, and again, I feel that that's just that's how I felt when I was looking at the bird, and I used to see it all the time. I even felt like that communication is coming pretty soon, or even if in physical reality you don't feel the communication, then you can just really understand that it could be the 5D communication that's going to come forward very quickly and rapidly from your twin flame. Also, the spiritual transformation with it that's going to come. So all that is part of the blue jays, which you probably wouldn't find on the internet. If you do now, I mean, that was 3.5 years ago when I actually looked at all that information. So and then I couldn't find it at the time. I mean, a lot happens after three years, in any in the internet world. If people have brought out better meanings to it, then yeah, do look at those. Another one that you mentioned was hawks. So hawks are a bird of prey. So anytime you look at if you are followed by any kind of animals that are bird of prey, which is eagle, hawk, vultures, or even an owl, like any of these are really, really good to have, because they, let's face it, they do rule the animal kingdom, right? You know, like the bird kingdom. So they are on the higher hierarchy of the birds. So yeah, of course, you know, you can Google the natural meaning of it if they are your animal spirit guide. Usually any of the animal spirit guide will have their shadow side as well as their light side. So you have to know both, you know, because especially if they are presenting themselves as an animal spirit to you, you need to know their shadow side as well as their light side, because that would be the essence that you will be embodying, as well as is stuff that you need to heal on a deeper level. So yeah, hawks are really good at seeing. So I remember, and I'm gonna go back to my story here, when in the beginning of my journey, I was seeing owls everywhere, and owls always have that wisdom associated with it, and it was something that was gearing me towards being a teacher. And along with, of course, the blue jay, because as I mentioned, you know, it's all about communication, and my biggest aspect of what I do is, of course, communication. So I have to communicate what I'm trying to tell you guys or teach you in a larger way. So that was another aspect that I looked at when I was seeing the you know, the signs all the time, and I knew that spirit was, or my guides were gearing me up to something bigger and better or greater when it came to wisdom. And of course, I say that now I was not born with any of this spirituality or the wisdom that I have gained in the last 4 years. It's all through my journey, and in this case, you know, the owl was definitely around. And once, you know, it moved. Once I gained quite a lot of the wisdom that I had, or knowledge of the twin flame journey and all those kind of things, once that was all done, I don't see it as much. So sometimes, you know, that's another thing that it will do, is it'll present you aggressively for a little while until, you know, you've already mastered that aspect in your journey, and then of course, you know, you'll move on, right? So that could be also another way of looking at it. So back to your situation where it's a hawk, your visual will be very you know, you'll get lots of downloads when it comes to clairvoyance, and you will visually see a lot of things accurately. So, you know, that hawk eyes kind of thing, or, you know, that saying that you must have heard, it's yeah, you'll be able to see it. So, and you know, I mean, animal spirit guides, they all have these kind of ability, like, you know, if you know anything about black panthers, and even owls, they're really good hunters in the nighttime, because what they can see in the nighttime, in the dark, nobody else can see. So when it comes to seeing something that I need to see, I will see past a lot of things, and I'll see it very clearly. So that's something that, you know, you may want to look into as well. Definitely want to say that hawk associates with vision, and blue jays will associate with communication. So you have to see how this unfolds in your journey. Write down, have a journal, write down all the things that is important that you feel you're getting in terms of downloads and stuff like that, and see how it actually unfolds as you go forward. So that was Evelyn's question, and I think that was an excellent question, because a lot of people have lots of downloads when it comes to animal spirit guides. So the next question that I've got was from Angel Light. This must be a screen name. Should you go back and find your soul flame after 30 years? And she's put a question mark there. Been thinking about him a lot. Does it mean he is looking for me too? I have no idea what that means. If you have, you know, if you feel that you're, you know, you're after 30 years, you want to go looking for your soul flame, that is That is something that you have to go within, meditate, get your answers, and see how that looks when it comes to wanting to connect. 30 years is a long time. I don't even know if people actually can find their twin flame after 30 years, but I mean, there is this saying when it comes to law of attraction that you will find it when you least expect it. So usually, if you're associating an expectation with it, you probably will not find them. So you will definitely find it when you least expect it. So and it's just the way that life always unfolds for many. So yeah, I mean, if you feel very strong pull towards your twin flame after 30 years, you'll have those will be the answers that you'll have to ask and connect. If you feel that you want to connect, you can connect. But yeah, it's something that you have to go within and ask that question. When you are dealing with a true twin flame, you will face lots of rejections from them, and that's just part of your healing, and it's the way the journey is designed. So if you're getting rejection, then of course it's lost part of yourselves that you have to also incorporate and figure out what or how this applies to you. So many ways you can you can look that up, how that happens. I mean, it also doesn't hurt to do a private reading just so that you get a better better answers. Asking here on something like that, it's very generic, so I'm just giving you a generic answer. I would say go within, look at, meditate, do some soul searching, and just see what you get out of that. All the best. If you do find that you're being drawn to your twin flame, that's usually the journey, and that's you're always going to be drawn to your twin flame no matter what. I don't feel that even if you are in separation for 30 years or 40 years or 50 years, you'll always have a part of you that will always be drawn to them. It's just the way that the connection is. It's always that intense. So 30 years later, yeah, don't be surprised that you still feel very drawn to your twin flame. That's very, very normal. So Karuna is asking, I read somewhere that it is compulsory for both counterparts to have a 10-year age gap between them. Then only it can be said as a twin flame connection. Is it true? I do not know how people come up with these kind of false prophecies. It makes no sense, and I would say ignore these kind of teachings. If somebody is teaching these kind of things, if you heard it, people say whatever they want. Think about it realistically. Realistically, think about this. You have friends and family, everybody does, or people around you. Can you safely say that there is a 5-year age gap between couples around you? And if you cannot safely say that, then why would twin flames be any different? This is the best logic that I can give you. We have 7+ billion people on this planet. And if you think that every couple that's there, whether same sex or, different gender, opposite genders, it doesn't matter. There is not a number that defines their connection. Age is, there's age gap, and definitely will be. Some people even have, they're in a relationship where they have the same birthday and they're born in the same year, just different times. It doesn't matter. Connections are connections, and it has no bearing on any age difference on anything. It is what it is. I've seen lots of twin flames that have massive age gaps of 20-30 years. I even knew a client that had a twin flame who was, I believe, a relative, and he passed away. And it was an unusual situation, but it happened in her case. he passed away and reincarnated, and the reincarnated version that it feels like a movie situation, but it just goes to show this. Obviously this relative was a little bit older than her, and she was a little girl, so when he there is an age gap with the current reincarnated version of him, but not a huge not like a massive age gap of like 40-50 years, kind of thing, but they do of course have a little bit of age gap. And yeah, he reincarnated again, and he resembles the same person that he was when he had passed away. So and of course, in this reincarnation, he's definitely more romantically involved with her than the deceased version. So but that's, if you've done any past life work, you would know that you and your twin flame, or even people that you've had past life connections with, all of them have, if they've reincarnated, whether they were a different gender there and now a different gender, the features would still be the same. They still look the same. So there's all sorts of things like that present people in their journeys. So when it comes to age, it's just stuff that people will say anything, and it's up to you to discern what that information is. I mean, you should be asking some logical questions. If you don't see every couple with 5 or 10 year age gap around you, or even around the world, then what makes you think that twin flames will have that standard age gap? It doesn't make sense to me. Some people, some twin flames will be older than you. The stare twin is mainly who watches my videos, but it doesn't matter. They could be older, younger, or the same age. It really doesn't matter. It is what it is. It's the way that you incarnated, and you were destined to meet in that age gap. People don't realize that there is always a story behind everything. If you kept passing away in previous lives before your twin flame, naturally you'll be much older than your twin flame. So if that makes sense, right? Because it's just the way it is. It takes a while for the soul to reincarnate into a body. They don't do it right away. Sometimes you see those kind of things in movies, and that could very well happen, but usually it takes a while before they journey through and they travel through the summer land and all those kind of places, and learn lessons and all those kind of things before they actually take on another body. And it's not by chance that they do. So it takes a lot of precise action for a soul to incarnate in this earth. So and that's why I really like that subject about twin flame children, because again, if souls have chosen, if there's twin flame kids that want to come forward into this earth, they've chosen you and your twin flame as parents. There's no such thing as defying that. They won't be able to, your twin flame won't be able to defy that. You won't be able to defy it. If they're meant to come, they're going to come at the precise time that they're supposed to. There is no coincidence there. So, and your twin flame will not be able to have children. They can have children, but they won't be able to have those kids with other people. But I always firmly believe that even the kids, you can't just have children unless you're meant to have children. So, and that goes with any humans that are here. So if you're meant to bring a child, then you will definitely bring it at the time that is supposed to. It's very, very precise. And if you know anything about astrology, you actually see that in the birth chart. So this is why it's very intriguing to get those kind of readings done, because all that stuff is very, very precise. Which parent you wanted to get born into your siblings, the time of birth, the place of birth, the date of birth. All that stuff is very, very crucial when it comes to, people incarnating. So yeah, I would totally not worry about the age part, because that has nothing to do with the journey itself. So hope that answered your question and anything that you had around that. So yeah, that was one device. Now going to the other one. Let's see. Okay, Luminous is asking a question here. Is it wrong to lust for my twin flame? Is it wrong to lust for my twin flame? We are grown-ups. I have tried to date and move on, but my spirit guides want me not to. The numbers start to come back. I want to stop obsessing over him so I can balance myself more. So you will never ever stop wanting your twin flame. I don't like to use these kind of word like lust and all that, but it is pretty much that. Right? It's it doesn't matter whether they're good looking or not. They could be a person with two heads, and you will think that they are the most amazing looking person. Beauty is in the eyes of beholder, so it doesn't really matter. You definitely 100% you will always want them, and it's that physical burning. Oh my goodness, it's like I feel like that I'm teaching you guys like a sex aid class here, but yeah, it's that physical burning desire that you'll always have when it comes to how you will feel about your twin flame. And I don't think that flame will ever burn out. And this is why people after 30 years, 40 years, they still feel that flame. So yeah, it's not random. It's there for a reason, and the whole desire, for you wanting your twin flame is for you to actually look at the higher purpose of the journey, and that is to become whole and complete and heal and gather lost, fragmented part of your soul and yourself back to oneness. So, and your twin flame is that really, juicy carrot that is always constantly dangled in front of you. So, and it doesn't help if they're insanely good looking. So, because yeah, then you'll really, that is game over completely. Because, I mean, I don't know what to say there. It's just, it's sad, but it's true. So, in her case, she's asking that if she wants to move on, her spirit guides are always telling her not to. I always say that you should find the only way that you can totally concentrate on your journey is to not be distracted by other relationship and other anything, especially if you're trying to be very, very serious about your healing and you trying to get somewhere when it comes to your journey. For those that are single, they find less distraction and they're able to concentrate a little bit better. And if your guides are telling you not to engage and be in other relationships other than your twin flame, there's a higher reason for that, and that is because they know that will really, really aid you in a longer term. So celibacy is something that most twin flames automatically find they don't have to fight that aspect, because they are so focused on figuring out their life. They're trying to figure out their journey. They don't actually have the energy to to look outside of the connection. So if you feel that you're getting advised by your guides not to engage, then I would say go within, look at that aspect, and follow your intuition, follow your guides, that sort of thing. It is, if you are busy doing what you're doing, you wouldn't be feeling that desire to go meet other people anyway. It's just the way that I have noticed with my clients, including myself. I just don't have the energy to, all the time. I'm just way too swamped with the things that are unfolding for me, that I just don't have the means to just go and look for things like that. What that looks like down the road, if I'm less busier, that remains to be seen. But I'm just saying that that's perfectly normal if that's something that you're finding that your life is as well. It's the work of your higher self. Don't distrust this aspect as well. Focus on your journey, focus on your healing, and see how that unfolds. There's so many things that the journey offers. So, and at some point when you're ready to attract a high level relationship, you definitely will. Just look at it this way, that the law of attraction, if you're meant to, if you can, people can attract all sorts of relationships, but if you're looking for that high level relationship, you'll have to ask yourself, am I that relationship material at this time, where somebody, if they are going to be in a relationship with me, am I going to offer them what I need to offer them? Am I going to be that catch that anybody wants to date, or anybody wants to marry, anybody that wants to meet their friends and family, or anybody that would that their kids would want to meet, right? Sort of thing. So if they have some children as well. So depending on all those kind of scenarios, you may want to ask all that stuff, because I feel that that's an important question to ask, as you are trying to elevate into a next level of your consciousness. So that was Luminous and asking me about that. We've got Alexandria that is asking, how do you stop the desire while being true to your soul purpose and mission? How does one move on when union may seem like it is not possible in this lifetime or anytime soon? I always say, focus on you, and you will definitely attract whatever is in store for you based on your energy frequency, right? If you are focused on your soul healing and your life purpose and your mission, if your twin flame is not in that vibration that you're supposed to be as you, universe will bring you somebody better, always will. So you never know how this unfolds. If the twin flame is not leveling up to that level, the universe will find somebody better. It's just the way it is. It's the law of attraction. So in this case, I want to say that that's what it will be. But how do you know? You really don't know. It will unfold when it's meant to unfold. The best thing is to just not worry about that aspect, and worry about you. Focus on you, and everything else should align the way it's meant to at the time that it's meant to. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. I've kind of answered the two questions in one. So Linda is asking, why do I see 222 each time I think of my twin flame? It's been happening without fail for months now. So 222. I want to say that Triple two, see, number sequences will differ for many. I don't believe in general, I don't believe that triple two is the higher frequency of numbers to see when you're seeing it so much. Reason why being because there's more powerful numbers that are there. I feel that triple two is mainly duality. That's what it is, duality. So the only meaning that I take out of triple two, apart from the conventional meaning that you would see on the internet and YouTube, of course, is duality. So it's you and your twin flame, and you are creating something in duality. What that is, it's hard to say. It could be, just manifesting things in general when it comes to your, your goals and stuff like that. It's partnership. So you're creating something, manifesting partnership. But that's basically all it is. It's you and your twin flame. There's no third energy there. So there is no fruition that has happened. So this is why triple three becomes their manifested version of that. So, and that's very, very important to see, is the triple three, because it's your energy, their energy, and now you've created a third energy. So you haven't created the third energy in triple two. You're still you and they are them. So you're still creating that harmony, that balance, and the wheel is still turning, it's still going. So I won't say that that's a number that you're still in the motion, if that makes sense. It's not the end result yet. The end result is the 333. So where you've created something in third energy. So yeah, you still haven't mastered that part. So it's still a very important number to see. It's triple two is an important number, despite not being 333. I want to say that it's basically in creation. You're trying to procreate something, and that's the best way. Because if you think about it for a second, in order for life to get created, you need to have balance of two. You have to have the union of two energies, right? So that is where it is. It hasn't created the third energy yet, so it hasn't created anything. It's just trying to. So it's sort of a very roundabout way that I'm explaining it, because I'm pretty sure if you've seen triple two everywhere, then you've already looked up the meaning for it. And the standard meaning is, you're manifesting something, but it hasn't manifested yet. Another aspect is that if you are thinking of your twin flame and it shows up all the time, that's their higher self telling you that their twin flame loves you. So that's another way of looking at it. And when you're seeing something very very frequently, it's usually, especially if you're thinking about your twin flame, and that would be the message that you can take from there, that your twin flame is saying I love you. So I see it all the time myself, but I don't really get wowed by it, because it's not a wow number for me. Personally, I get wowed when I see triple three, because that's the master number. That's telling me in different levels. I actually even wrote an article on it, on different levels of how that number is so auspicious. It's the ascended master's number. So in many ways, I get I love it when I see triple three, and I also love it when I see 1111s, because I think that those are the higher frequency numbers that you want to be seeing when you're in a twin flame journey. So I I also see 717 insanely, and that one was supposed to be the way that I looked at it. I don't know if you can hear Archangel Michael. Thank you. I was gonna just explain 717. It does mean sexual union, and it also means that it's a very spiritual number, and it's a definitely very very twin flame number when it comes to your journey, your mission work. And I still haven't had time to dissect it and explain to you guys why I say 717 number is also very important when it comes to your twin flame. I've been channeling it for a while. It's been coming to me for the last maybe 3-4 months, and I think that it's associated with life path, mission, success, spirituality, twin flame, union. It's the whole 9 works. So that's another number, and thank you for validating that. It's something that I have been definitely channeling. So I haven't had a chance to dissect it and explain it the way that I understand it so far, but it's in my list to do. So that's why I say, when you have stuff going on when it comes to your life purpose and mission, you really don't have time to dilly-dally and waste time on, you know, mundane connections and stuff like that. So, and this is simple law of attraction. Be clear on what you want. Do not confuse the universe. If you want what you want, then you gotta stay true to what you want. Manifest it, versus dilly-dallying and confusing. Do not confuse the universe. Do not confuse. If you are confused, the universe will be confused just like you. So, and they will give you lots of lessons around that. So if you want to continue learning lessons, yeah, you may want to, you know, revisit that idea of if, you know, finding connections outside of yourself. If they present it naturally, then there was some lessons that you needed to learn, or some experience, soul experience that you needed. How to say what that means, but all I want to say is that, yeah, you may want to you know, be celibate and focus on you. That's the best way I can explain all that stuff. Okay, here we go. Next question is by Lorena. When meeting your twin flame in 5D, are they feeling what you are in 3D as well? Are they really communicating with you the way you hear it? 100%. Why wouldn't it be, right? If you are meeting your twin flame in 5D frequency, the whole point of your entire journey, and this is why I say soul alchemy is very important, the whole point of bringing that 5D frequency into 3D reality is what the entire journey is. And if you cannot bring the 5D frequency into the 3D reality when it comes to you and your twin flame in physical relationship, you won't be able to last not even 6 months. You guys will separate again. So that whole point is to bring that frequency here. So bring your heaven or earth experience right here in this earth. There's no such thing as heaven up there and earth here and hell somewhere below. It's all here in 3D reality. You heaven, hell, you know, everything's all here. Are they really communicating with you the way you hear it? Yes, because that's the work of the higher self. You have to realize that their higher self has no ego. They could behave, I think I mentioned that in my, not my reading video, but the video before that. So you may want to take a look at that video because I went in depth there. The whole thing that I want to say when it comes to twin flames, you know, their behavior and physical reality may be very different from the higher self that you feel or you are in communication with. They are two different frequencies, and your 5D version of the twin flame is definitely the higher self. So if they are communicating in any way, that is correct. I want to say that very rarely the 3D version of the twin flame will show up in your dreams. It's usually the 5D version, the higher self, that always comes in your dreams as well, with messages, insights, and stuff like that. So it's very, very important to pay attention to what they're saying. They may give you insights. The higher version, the 5D version, will definitely give you insights on what is yet to come in, during healing and stuff like that. They will give you visions and foresights and stuff like that. I knew that I had a son coming as well, just through medium sensing it. But for me to physically see how he looked like, it was my twin's higher self that showed it to me during a healing session. He actually showed it to me. So that was his higher self in 5D that showed it to me. So a 3D reality twin flame, he hasn't shown it to me, so I won't say that that was him. It was his higher self that did. So there's a big difference between that. So if that makes sense, in the 3D version, my twin flame gave me clues. and those would be the 3D version. So you have to kind of know which one's what, right? Your 3D version twin flame will give you physical clues in physical reality. They're still the same person. One is more, the higher self is of course the elevated version, right? So you also have a higher version too. And if they've received specific messages when it comes to you, that would be your higher self that has gone to them and given them insights and information or something like that. So yeah, I want to say that though they are interconnected, they are a little separated as well. So you have to kind of know what is what, right? Did I answer all your question here? When meeting your twin flame in 5D, are they feeling what you are in 3D as well? So are they feeling what you are in 3D when you meet their twin flame in 5D? Yes and no, because it depends on what level of what you are meaning by that, right? If you're healing, I'm going to use healing as the best example here. If you booked a session with a healer and you are healing, and their higher self has come, the twin flame in 5D that has shown up, will it have a knockoff effect on the twin flame in 3D? 100%. I remember one of my healers really teased me at that time. I was new to the journey, so and of course she was doing it for years, so though she didn't understand the concept twin flames, but she understood soul connection. So she said, she was teasing me, she said, all this healing that you are doing, your twin flame must be feeling amazing. I'm like, yeah, I guess he is. So I want to say that yes, if you're healing and elevating into a higher consciousness, your twin flame in 3D will definitely feel all that stuff. And this is why it's so important that you allow them to come and heal, or as a true vibrational blueprint of what they are with you. You're not supposed to be going there and personally healing them. That's what I totally go against, because I don't feel that twin flames should be doing that, because allow them the space that they can actually pick up whatever they want and heal whatever aspects that they want as you are healing yourself. Let them automatically do that, versus you going in there and trying to force them into healing and stuff like that. You're going to send them into a really massive soul shock. So you can't do that. You have to you can't do that. So like I kind of I still have to write an article on it, but yeah, I kind of touched that up with somebody that I knew that was trying to offer that as a service, where she had, you know, a diagram of two twin flames and she's offering healing. And that's something that's totally what I am against all of that stuff, because yeah, I mean, imagine me trying to heal my twin flame, as muscular and as you know, virile as he is. And goodness, if I start going in there and healing him, I'm gonna send him into a massive soul shock. He wouldn't even know what has hit him, so he won't be able to handle it. So you may want to just not do stuff like that. So that's the best way that I can give you an example that the 5D version definitely is in communication with the 3D in some form or shape or form. So if you are meeting your twin flame in 5D, it's the higher self that you're meeting. You're meeting them, the higher version. And to an extent, it intuitively, I feel that the 3D version will have an idea, and how much of an idea they would have, it depends on their level of consciousness and how awakened they are to their journey and all that sort of thing. So it all differs between connections and couples. It really is hard to say in general how much they know, but they know some aspect, and some aspect they don't. So, and yeah, you always want to hear your twin flames communication, whether they have, see, this is the whole point of the journey as well. I've mentioned it a few times now, I'll mention it again, that I told my twin flame in physical reality that in his silence he said a lot of things to me, and I heard them all, and I continue to hear them all in his silence. So the whole point of your gifts and you elevating into a certain consciousness is to hear them like that. And you always want to hear them like that. You also want to ensure that you are hearing their higher self as well. Pay attention to what they are saying, 100%. I hope that this answered your question, and if it didn't, you can always rephrase the question. And for any of you that have asked these questions, this is the end of my questions and answers. And if you feel that I didn't answer your questions the way that you wanted it, then you may want to rephrase the question. Sit on it for a few days and then submit it, because yeah, it's important that how you actually ask the questions as well, because if I'm not able to understand the question, then I won't be able to answer it the way that I should be answering it. So it's very, very important that you guys do that. And like I said before, if you guys want additional questions submitted or whatever, you can do that in any of the YouTube video comments. You can email me, you can find me on contact page, there's ways to do it. If you're in my private Facebook group, you can make a post and submit it like that. But of course, you know, attention it to me, because there's also questions that people ask, but they, you know, I don't answer them because they're not asked. No, I'm not being asked that question personally. So and you know, that's, if you want to get my attention, you have to actually tag me to that post so that I know that you're asking me, and not just, you know, 8,000 group members that are there. So it is what it is. With that, I hope that you guys enjoyed this segment. Do submit your questions. None of your questions are not important enough. They always are, because the way that I look at it is that if you are submitting questions, then a lot of people also get your answers in a very big way. So, and that's always a good thing. With that, stay blessed and all the best to your journey going forward.